Welcome back. It has not been working out great for me with that hoop and the watercress in the pond. I've tried it a second time and I was hoping that it would help, but honestly it was causing more problem than it was worth it. So I had not had any success with having live plants inside the pond itself. I've tried before in the past and I thought with the hoop and watercress floating that it would help, but as you can see, it is gone. I've now converted that hoop into a feeding ring so that the food can stay there and not go into the skimmer. I've done a couple of water changes to clean up the water. Of course, I still do a potassium permanganate, but it seems that so far the algae along those walls right there have been growing back, so it's green, and the water right now it's slightly murky because I did PP last night, and tonight I'm gonna do it again to a smaller dosage. But I think once it clears up and I do one more water change, it should be nice and clean. The watercress didn't really all go to waste. I decided to put them here on the top of my shower filter. Well, this is a part shower and part sump, so there's a layer of backing media underneath that tray, and then underneath is K1 moving media. I think it will thrive a lot better here because it gets full sun, the fish won't disrupt it, and it will start to get green and hopefully bloom up more and start growing. I think this is a better place for it compared to the inside the water. I threw out some as well because I got too many, but also put some up here on the top of this stack of a shower right here, and as you can see they're shooting up slowly. So I did this yesterday, yep, see, they're shooting up, so that's what I want. So I think this should work out better overall. The other thing that I did with a small modification to my foam fractionator, as you probably saw in my previous video, I have a foam fractionator here, and the deck, I built the deck to cover it up, but decided to put the foam fractionation back to good use because I noticed that with a lot of fish, there's just so many things going around the pond. Before, when the T right here was straight vertical, like perpendicular to the outgoing pipe, I think for whatever reason the foam here is super thick, so it wasn't moving out. So it wasn't really as effective as I was hoping. So what I did was I chopped it off in this section right here. I chopped it off a little bit and I used a rubber connector, and then I put it back in. But I decided to tilt the T. As you can see, I tilted the T a little bit towards this side, making sure that the lowest point of the T will never allow water to escape. So if you look at it this way, let me clean it up a little bit. It looks a little bit messy. Alright, so the water level, as you can see right there, that's about as high as it goes. But by tilting the exit port of the T right here, there's less force pushing down on the foam, and it's able to exit and just kind of curve and fall down there. So as you can see down there, a lot of foam has been coming out. I think if I were to ever use one again like this, I'll probably build it this way too, because the way it exits is so much easier and it's much more effective. So that is the only modification I made to this foam fractionator, and I think it should work a lot better now because it's easier to exit and it's constantly creating foam. Obviously daytime in full sunlight you're not going to see much, but at night it does make it, and I'm happy that whatever passive free filtration that we have going on here, it's always best. It doesn't use electricity and it's always constantly on. And obviously with the foam, it does help remove a lot of the stuff in the pond. Along with potassium permanganate, you'll see that when you start using potassium permanganate, the foam will get like this brown color because it's skimming off the surface here as well, and also because a lot of the reaction between the water and the potassium permanganate, it results in a lot of this brown foam. But once it clears off after 24 hours or so, the foam will be like a natural color, but it'll still be kind of brownish. in any case, the more you use potassium permanganate, the less foam you'll actually produce. But that's actually a good thing. But any extra foam that you can make is always good. So those are the recent changes, and honestly, I don't think I'm gonna try putting live plant in the pond again. It's just too messy. It was not effective at all the way I was hoping, and I already kind of knew that it wasn't the best, but I thought I'd give it a shot again, because before I did it once and the result was similar. So this time I think for sure I'm never gonna bother. If I do put plants, it'll be outside like that, never inside the water. And it was just so murky, I couldn't see anything. Now, even though it is a little murkier than in some of my previous videos, at least I can see the fish. Obviously I can't see to the bottom, but I can still see some of them, so it's nicer that way. And this little hoop that I made right here for the plants, well, being repurposed for holding the pallets in place is also good too, so that less gets inside the skimmer. But yep, these Dainichi yellow monkeys have been growing quite nicely. Some of them are pretty big. Some batches were pretty small, and they are still small, but overall, the way I'm feeding them, they are growing. So I'm hoping when we have full on summer, the next 5 months, 5-6 months, I'm hoping to just watch them, explode in size. Alright, so that's it for a short update. Nothing much to talk about. Everything's working the way as intended. Auto feeder has been flawless. Water parameters, at one point I had a little bit higher nitrite, so I think it was probably the plants that was causing it too, to be honest. It was making too many waste and detritus, and the roots were breaking off, the fish were ripping it apart, and it was just getting kind of messy. It didn't help with the nitrite situation, so taking it out, doing water change, and potassium permanganate ends up being the best. Alright, I'm gonna see if this season that I can take some of my, well, I'm trying to see if I can take some of the big female and male fish and see if I can experiment with breeding them. But I have to kind of situate my backyard a little bit before I try that. But that's gonna be my goal for this summer, trying to breed a couple of fish for fun.